Tonight, I want to begin with words that I hope will resonate with all of you long after you leave this sanctuary tonight. Welcome home. We're so glad you're here. Look around this room for a moment. Each one of us carries a spark of light, and together we form a spiritual constellation that can navigate us through darkness and illuminate the path for meaning and belonging. Just as ancient sailors looked up at the night sky and found their way following the patterns of stars, people today need to look for spiritual constellations. These constellations can guide them home. Hayom Hara'at Olam. Today is the birthday of the world. Listen carefully as we return to the beginning of our Torah. This first story doesn't explain just how the world was created, but how each and every one of us got our light. In the beginning, God gives form to the void with words, "Let there be light." Light enters the universe. The light is defined by the Creator as Tov, good. And after each manifestation of God's creative force, God deems the accomplishments as good, Tov. The land is formed, vegetation sprouts, light from the sun, moon, and stars, they're all good, Tov. Animals roam the earth, each according to its ability. Tov is everywhere. And the crowning achievement of creation, the human being, is Tov Me'od, very good. But then, suddenly, for the first time in the narrative of creation, something was not good. Lo Tov Heyot Ha'adam Levado. It is not good for the human being to be alone. The Jewish mystical tradition sees this primordial loneliness as the first darkness to enter creation, a spiritual exile that preceded even the expulsion from the Garden of Eden. So God does something amazing. God creates, in Hebrew, an ezer kenegdo, which is often translated as a helpmate, but the Hebrew is far richer. Ezer means helper, and kenegdo means opposite or against. So an ezer kenegdo is someone who helps you and challenges you, supports you and pushes you to grow. Someone whose light reflects and amplifies your own, like a soulmate. Later in the Torah, when God expels Adam and Eve together, what does God give them? God made for them cloaks of skin, Conot or. But Rabbi Meir of the first century suggested that instead of translating Conot or, like it's written in the Torah with an ayin, for cloaks of skin, what if we put instead an aleph, the first letter, and make it or, light, cloaks of light? This interpretation transforms these garments from markers of shame into divine protection, luminous armor against the darkness of isolation. Wrapped in light, our ancestors left the garden, and from that moment on, the great challenge of human existence has been this: how do we find each other again and transform separation back into sacred community? Now, modern science confirms what our tradition always knew about the health impacts of loneliness. Dr. Julianne Holt-Lundstad is an internationally acclaimed expert who studies the relationship between health and social connection. Her groundbreaking research reveals what our tradition has long intuited. Following 15 million participants across decades, Her meta-analysis found that those who were positively socially connected had longer health spans and longer lifespans. Lacking positive and abundant social connection, she says, carries a risk equivalent to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. A finding so significant that the US Surgeon General has declared loneliness a public health epidemic. And both the United Kingdom and Japan have appointed ministers of loneliness. Scientists spent years studying loneliness and concluded that it's as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Jews could have told them that for free. We've been saying, come, eat something, you look lonely, for 4,000 years. On a biological level, isolation makes our bodies react as if we're under constant threat. We become more susceptible to everything from viruses to dementia. But each moment of genuine connection conversely triggers a cascade of healing. Oxytocin flows, cortisol drops, our immune systems strengthen. Holt Lundstad emphasizes we need to take our social relationships just as serious as we take our physical health, because they're inextricably linked. We need friends and community as much as we need good food, exercise, and access to good medical care. Let me ask all of you something this evening, and I want you to be honest. Raise your hand if you have felt lonely in this past year. Okay, keep them up, keep them up. Look around. This is our shared human condition. The first thing God called lo tov, loneliness, is still with us. Okay, you can put your hands down. Thank you for the brave people who felt a little bit lonely this year. Our new religious school director, Rabbi Gladstein, put it perfectly. Human interaction is awkward, but it won't kill you. Loneliness will. We have more ways to communicate than ever. Yet our culture is starving for true connection. Our screens connect us to the world while somehow disconnecting us from our souls and from one another. This has created the largest generation of depressed and lonely teens. As researcher Jean Twenge documents, teens become lonelier after 2012 when social media usage spiked. Young people spent more time online and less with each other in person. As the elders of the community, we must provide the cure: real community and authentic connection. Here's what that means. When we gather for Shabbat, when we check in on each other, when we're sick, when we celebrate with one another, we're not just being nice. We're practicing medicine and extending each other's lives. During my first week at TBA, I had a conversation with Taylor Green, a board member, and he shared with me his shock when he saw how packed the sanctuary was the Friday night of my interview last January. That wasn't normal, he said. They were all here for you. You represented hope, something we've been waiting for through 2 years of transition, and so everybody showed up. Ken Abrams from the Transition Committee captured this feeling perfectly. It's like we've been waiting for the sequel to our favorite movie, and the time has finally arrived. The new film premieres now. This hope is about all of us, about the transformation we're creating together and the next chapter of Temple Brith Achim's story that we're writing with our lives. I believe that the best gift we can give our children is the experience of Jewish summer camp. It's an elixir to loneliness. This past summer, my son experienced this magic firsthand. He returned home from Camp Harlem with new friendships and a deeper connection to his Jewish identity. And I'm so excited to share that I will be applying to be clergy at Camp Harlem next summer. Who here wants to sign their kids up and come with me? Yeah. Because community is built through shared, intensive experiences. where we see each other's full selves, where we literally live together, eat together, pray together, and play together. So what does this mean for us here at Temple Brith Achim? If social connection saves lives, what we're building here is spiritually meaningful and medically essential. We're creating what I like to call a constellation of care. As the Talmud teaches, Kol Yisrael aravim zeh bazeh. All of Israel are responsible for one another. So when you're in the hospital, we don't just send you a card here, we show up. When you're celebrating, we don't just like your post, we dance at your simcha. And when you're mourning, we don't just make a donation, we sit shiva with you. Just this week, Taylor, who I spoke of earlier, and his wife, who's usually in the choir, Kendall, announced their new baby by email. Our president, Cheryl Carmel, wrote back in the email thread, "I can't wait for her baby naming." That is what TBA is all about. We are pioneering an intergenerational renaissance. We are all architects of the future of Jewish life. I believe this moment, this year, will be remembered as the turning point where a community chose to transform individual lights into one bright constellation. Let's think it back again to Jewish summer camp, where after just 3 days, strangers become family. We can create that here. Imagine it, adult camp weekends with counselors leading group bonding exercises, Shabbat retreats for families, Jewish tours of New York, I'm leading one in April, historical journeys through Europe with an emphasis on Jewish history, grief support groups coming right after the high holidays, and intergenerational women's retreats. Who will join me in planning these gatherings? We live, I see some hands already. We live in challenging times when darkness feels particularly present. Global conflicts rage, anti-Semitism rises, democracy tumbles, climate change accelerates. But the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of Hasidic Judaism, taught that when souls destined to be together find each other, there streams a light that flows together, creating a single brighter light. Just as God's rainbow covenant with Noah promised hope after the rain, we too make a covenant that isolation will not prevail. This is our charge for 5786. Wear your kanot or your cloaks of light. The loneliness epidemic is both a sociological crisis and a spiritual one. Temple Brith Achim can offer something essential, a living model of what happens when community commits to genuine presence. We are so lucky, really we are, to be in the position to write the next chapter. We can do this because of the dream that a few families had for a synagogue in King of Prussia in 1971, and all the leaders that came after them for 54 years. Even more than that, a special recognition to those members who for the past 2 years have paved the way for this beautiful moment to emerge. And now let's recognize those who've been holding these lights long before many of us even arrived to this moment. I want to invite you at this time to stand if you've been part of Temple Brith Achim between 10 to 20 years. Anyone here 10 to 20? Not longer, just 10 to 20. 10 to 20 only. Thank you. 10 to 20. They were so excited. Great. Look at these pioneers already. 10 to 20. What about 20 to 29 years? Just 20 to 29. Everyone else keep standing. Great. 30 to 40 years. There they are. Wow. 40 years or more? Any 40 years?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Could be close to that.
We honor all of you tonight whose presence through the seasons have created a gravitational pull that draws all of us together now. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. So many of you have remained committed members through transition, and your loyalty matters. But here's what's happening today. Families are moving into King of Prussia, Collegeville, Phoenixville, Wayne, communities throughout our region. They're arriving lonely and disconnected, and they're searching for something to help them thrive. We know that religion is trending down nationwide, but our brand of Judaism, the TBA brand of Judaism, is meaningful, it's accessible, it's radically welcoming, it's their prescription for this loneliness pandemic. And when those families search for community, my question I want to ask all of you tonight, will they find a vibrant TBA that's alive, or will they find a place that looks welcoming on social media but feels empty when they visit? Remember, every time you show up, you're practicing medicine, you're modeling for your children. This is the year we can become the healing center this region so desperately needs. I'm going to be here with our fabulous lay leaders, planning and recruiting, and with Cindy, of course. But community healing requires participation. And here's what's going to save lives. Attend something twice a month minimum beyond religious school. Email me after the service with the subject line, "Count me in." Clergy@brithachim.org. Count me in. These families who are moving here are counting on you. They're counting on all of us. This is how I closed my sermon when I interviewed in January. As your clergy, I promise to be present with you, to laugh with you, cry with you, and hold space for all of it. When you need celebration or comfort, I will be here for you. TBA will be here for you. That's what it means to be each other's Ezer Kenegdo. May this new year bring us deeper into authentic relationship. May everyone who encounters us feel this radical kindness. Welcome home. We've been waiting for you.